Hello, my name is Sushima, and today we're going to talk about homeopathic remedies for dogs. This is specifically for our dog, who's a country dog. We live out in rural Sebastopol, and we have the ticks and the snakes and the hemlocks and the coniums and the queen's lace and the poisons and the stickers and the cattails in this area. We have this sort of zone 8, 9 weather. It is frequently cold, sometimes it's hot, but a lot of times it's foggy and it's kind of on the cold side. The reason I want to talk to you about our dog's remedies, homeopathic remedies, is he is now almost 17 years old. He's been raw fed from the time that we inherited him, and he's been exclusively on homeopathy. No drugs, no nothing, no hospital procedures of any sort whatsoever. And he recently, a couple of days ago, was paralyzed from the legs down. And we treated him homeopathically. He's much better now. He didn't die. We didn't have to take him to hospital and do CT scans and MRIs and do all sorts of horrific drugs, which would have killed him because he's very fragile. He's a 17-year-old dog. He's in his 90s and hundreds. For a 17-pound rat terrier, that's old age. So what I wanted to talk about was in the background here, you will see all the labels of all the homeopathic remedies that I have used over the years, and then some on the side of the refrigerator as well. But I have here with me a few dog remedies that I have just kept in bottles that look like this. And I'm going to walk through these remedies real quick so that you know what I keep on hand for doggy problems. And so far, in the last 8, 9 years, they have sufficed. These are the remedies that I have used for our dog Travis, and we've had great success with them. He's gotten well with them. He's been a very healthy, energetic dog with a lot of vital force. And so without further ado, I'm going to go to my list. This is a list that I made for Richard for when I leave town. As you can see, it's a mirror image, so you can't really see properly. But let me point out, when I leave town, I put this on the refrigerator and hope that Richard uses this for any doggy problems that Travis has. He's hit and miss. Sometimes he uses them, sometimes he does not. So lacrimation is euphrasia. When he gets gelatinous poops, that is cadmium. Cadmium metallicum, I believe. Metallicum or sulfuricum, one of those two. That is for gelatinous poops. For runny fistulas, but oftentimes he'll have boils that sort of bleed or things coming out of his skin that are fistula-like. For these, the remedy is a gunpowder mix that I learned from the wonderful Dr. Kopiker, who practiced for 70 years and has this mix of gunpowder with other hepar, tuberculinum, etc. that I've used with great success for his fistulas. He bumped into, not bumped, but got scraped by plants in his eye and developed corneal ulcers one time. And there's a remedy for that, which is Silicea 12X and 1M. That's what I used to reduce the size of the corneal ulcer. Smelly mouth. Oftentimes he will stink. He will stink from the things he eats, and sometimes he just has bad breath. Dogs have bad breath. Merc. Mercurius solubilis or Merc-Viv will take care of those smelly mouths almost instantaneously. If he has diarrhea, which dogs are wont to do, arsenicum album. And if he injures himself, which he does a fair amount of times and with a fair amount of frequency, because dogs like to get their noses into things and fall down and jump up and hurt themselves, arnica, our standby. And if he ever has a concussion, which he never did, I would have given him natrum sulfuricum 200C. Now I'm going to show you my remedies, which are right here. These are the remedies, folks, that I use. And this is the remedies that I'm going to go through with you right now and show you what sort of success I have with these remedies. First up, is Croton Tig. Croton tiglinum is great for a dog who's constantly scratching his paws. He gets into weeds and thorns and all sorts of things, or develops allergies, and Croton Tig is a great paw scratching remedy. Ruta and Symphytum. When he falls down, jumps off of a place that he can't handle, Ruta and Symphytum is my go-to remedy for him and for his master Richard, who frequently hurts himself, bangs himself, hurts his back. Ruta and Symphytum is great for tendinous connective tissue damage and periosteal damage, so Symphytum and Ruta. And what I do is I keep these remedies permanently in the fridge with their labels, and every so often I'll replace them with a pill or two. I'll wash them and replace them with a pill or two of the same remedy, so I don't have to change bottles and I don't have to change labels. And that has worked great for me. The unfortunate part is I use up one section of the fridge for this, but we have several refrigerators and this is worth its weight in gold. So Ruta Symphytum, Croton Tig for allergies, Ledum, because we're constantly, and Belladonna 7C or 6C, whatever you got, we're constantly getting bit by ticks and all sorts of creatures, and Ledum keeps that from turning into a bad case of infection, disease, etc. Then we have aconites. Anytime there's a shock, there's a sudden event, sudden nervousness, sudden behavioral changes, sudden fevers, aconite. Selenium is something that I got for selenium water. A friend of ours gave it to me, and from time to time I'll give it to us, really, for thyroid function. This is Cinna. He always, or rather very frequently, gets worms, and Cinna 6C is a fantastic worm remedy, and always keep it on hand for your dog. This is Bryonia and aconitum. Any type of sudden fever, under the weather, the beginning of a cold cough, he never gets it. This is for humans, and I don't know why I have it in my dog remedies. I'll skip this. This is Russ Talks. Russ Talks is when you overdo, like me and Richard are gardeners, and we're always pulling our ligaments or tendons or planting 80 bulbs in one sitting, and then the next thing you know, you can't. You find the first day and the second day you can't move. Russ Talks is your remedy for that. This is Hecla lava. Dogs will eat junky stuff and they will hurt their jaws. They will get inflammation in their jaws. They will get stickers up their jaws. They will bite on stone and destroy, or not destroy, but damage their gums and jaws. And they get growths, tumors in their mouth, and Hecla lava is great for that. I'm going to use it right now for him for his jaw, his left-hand side over here under his jaw and behind his ears, which has swelled up a lot from what I believe to be some sort of tick illness or botulism from eating poops, which dogs do. You can't stop them. They will do it. This is Ledum. Again, every time you see a tick bite, give a few doses of that. And if you please remember to do 3 or 4 doses after a tick bite, it will truly prevent illness. I didn't this last time, and I suspect that's why he got sick. And he had paralysis, and we will talk about that too. This is more Russ. Why do I have more Russ talks? Because you need it. This is Ignatia. When I leave town and he's with Richard alone, he needs a dose of Ignatia because he gets very, very sad. He's bonded to me, and this helps him not fall sick, not get depressed. Yes, dogs get depressed too because they're pack animals. This is Sorinum for skin conditions, bad for mangy looking fur, hair going away, if he's looking weak or after a long illness for a dog, if they've been under the weather, Sorinum is a great, great remedy. This is not a dog remedy. This is calendula tincture, which has been succussed. And this is actually for Richard, who has little skin things on either side of his face from being in the sun. They have melanoma in some members of their family, and so this is what Richard squirts himself with to take care of his skin. And I hope and pray he doesn't get cancer or epitheliomas of the skin. This is silicea for anything that's stuck, thorns, stones, um, things, bad infections that don't go away. This is great. Silica is great, great remedy. And as I said, for his corneal ulcers, I had good success with silicea. Mesothelium. He had a psoas abscess, and for that, Mesothelium is a great remedy, as is Hippoxynum, a nosode, and it has considerably improved. Um, Hippoxynum caused some of his warts and tumors to disappear, and so nosodes are great remedies. Mesothelium is a great remedy for long bone problems, which is the femur, the tibia, fibula, and so on, if they hurt it or if there's infections in there. This is Hippoxynum. I talked about Hippoxynum. This is a tick nosode. Thank you, Richard, for collecting a bunch of ticks, putting them in alcohol for me. So I have a tincture, an alcohol tincture of tick with all the local ticks in it. And this is 1 drop of that tick tincture mixed with water. And I'm going to give this to him for the next few days. And I guarantee you he will perk up. He's already perked up because I suspect it was a tick bite that caused his most recent illness. This is Ledum and belladonna for me. When I'm gardening, I overexert this thumb and I overexert this thumb because I'm constantly weeding because it's a never-ending task. It hurts like crazy. Sometimes it gets inflamed. A dropper of this Ledum plus belladonna, Ledum 30C and belladonna 6X, wonders. It is wonderful for any nodosities in your joints. I had a big node over here which was popping out and hurt like hell. So I rubbed it with ghee and I took Ledum and belladonna, and overnight it disappeared. I don't know why I did not think of doing that for 2.5 months while it hurt. I did that, and in 24 hours my node was gone. That is the power of homeopathy. You might think this is water, but this is not. It is incredible in healing you from what was caused and endured by your body for a very long time. This is Richard's injury mix, and you've guessed it, it is there because he injures himself a lot. But we're not going to talk about it. It's a bunch of different remedies from the outside, and every time he gets injured, he takes a couple of swigs of these and he feels better. This is Silicea 6X. I get thorned frequently by blackberries, and sometimes the blackberries get deep inside my skin, and Silicea 6X helps to bring them out. And I don't like to paw at it with pins and needles because it really hurts my skin. And I'm constantly getting thorned by blackberries. I hate blackberries, and I try to wear gloves when I'm pulling blackberries out, but this is an occupational hazard. This is the tichinozode that Richard made. See, it's in his, no, not, yeah, it's in his handwriting. It says tick. And this had a bunch of different ticks, and a tincture, an extract, and alcohol. And I use a drop of this. And if other dog owners in Sebastopol or the Sonoma County area would like some tick nosode, I'm happy to give them their own tick nosode so that any ill effects of tick bites for your dogs and cats will be alleviated. It's a great remedy. This is Mercurius corrosivus. If he's bleeding from the anus, if he eats something and gets a bloody diarrhea, there's nothing as wonderful as Merc Core. And I think this is 9C. Why do I have a 9C? I don't know, but it works. This is Calflor for hard nodosity. Sometimes he gets these hard nodes in places, and this really helps. It's Calcarea florica 30C, and that's something I always have in hand. This is Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus is for mosquito bites, other bites. It's for mentals too. It works really well with Richard. Richard is a person who doesn't express himself in overt anger, and for people like that, Staphylococcus aureus is great. because it brings it all out and you want it out. All right. This is Bellus perennis, and I know I'm mixing up some dog remedies with human remedies, but every time Richard overdoes it, his back hurts, and this is Bellus per 50M, and that really helps with healing his back. A better way to heal the back is not to damage it in the first place and exercise it and take care and wear belts. Sometimes we forget. This is the gunpowder mix, and I'll do a separate presentation on my gunpowder mix. It is for boils, carbuncles, fistulas that don't heal in a dog, especially an elderly dog when the immune system kind of goes down a little bit and they don't heal as fast. Gunpowder mix will help. Gunpowder was used by shepherds. They would put on their bread a little bit of cheese and a little bit of gunpowder when they got infections from shearing sheep on with open wounded hands. Great help. It was very useful in the First and Second World War. First World War in particular when there were no antibiotics. So remember, gunpowder, very good remedy for dogs. This is conium, and conium is something I'm using now. This is because hemlock is in season in Sebastopol, and people have been shearing down their hemlock. Travis had his nose to the ground, and I suspected he might have inhaled hemlock, which is the poison Socrates took when he was killed. With ascending paralysis, Travis had paralysis of his legs. He had all the classic symptoms of three things: hemlock poisoning, tick illness, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and botulism, all sort of similar. In homeopathy, you look at the symptoms, and your remedies are going to work based upon what you saw happening to your animal. And by chance, if you happen to hit on an isopathic remedy, like if I had a remedy of whatever caused it, that's called isopathy, the same, curing the same, kind of like vaccines. That would have worked very well. But like also cures like, and conium maculatum has helped him reduce the lymph swelling behind his ear, behind his left ear. This is Burita carb, same thing for swollen lymph nodes, which he has right now. So right now I'm giving him conium interspersed with Burita carb, and I'm going to give him Hecla lava with that too, because he's got a bit of a lumpy jaw. Here's Mercurius. Mercurius is for bad breath, bad stools, runny stools, and salivation, weakness. He really does well with Merc C200. C, you could use 30C as well. And different dogs will have different remedies that work for them. So for him, his staples have been arsenicum album for when he eats poisonous things or trash outside. Yes, there is trash even on country roads, and there's poisons. So arsenicum album and Mercor have done very well for him. I have not used phosphorus. They say dogs on phosphorus, constitutional remedy. I've not had occasion to use it, but that doesn't mean you should not. Hepar salt for infections of the skin, of the body, of the eyes. Sometimes he has eye problems. They get irritated. He gets into bushes and they rub up against him. And he might get, green goop coming out of his eyes. Hepar and pulsatilla is very good. He's a pulsatilla dog, by the way. Arsenicum album, wonderful remedy. This is a 3C. This is an arsenicum album 3C. Great for a dog. The first go-to remedy. If you're in doubt and he's got any digestive symptoms, try arsenicum album. It will help. Tuya 230C was what I used for his warts and tumors, and he came to us very, very jabbed, vaccinated. So I frequently will do Tuya if he grows warts or wens or little tumors, and it all goes away really, really well. This is Euphrasia, a great remedy for running eyes. Fantastic remedy. Really helps to heal the eyes. And after this, there's two more to go. One is our staple, arnica, for any injuries, for everybody in the family. And this is cadmium. I believe it's cadmium metallicum. And it's for poops that are very gelatinous. And that's a very specific, and smelly gelatinous poops. cadmium is your friend. And with that, I've covered these 36 remedies. I always have them on hand. And so far, in the last 8, 9 years, they have been sufficient to treat our dogs in all sorts of conditions. A few days ago, he came home, got very, very sick. So he lay in bed the whole day. And it was unusual for him, but not so unusual because he's an older dog and he sleeps 20 out of 24 hours. But he was not well, and we could see that. And then he couldn't get up. His back legs were folding up under him. We were very worried. We thought, oh gee, did he have a stroke? Did he have a this, that, and the other? But homeopathy came to the rescue. And within a day of conium, I gave him arsenicum first, thinking he had poisoned himself, rightfully so. He's always poisoning himself. And then the things that worked for him were arsenicum album for the poisoning, potential poisoning, the tick remedy, the burita carb for the bubues, the lymph node swellings, conium for the lymph node swellings, and arnica because I thought maybe he injured himself here. Remember, dogs can't talk, so you're guessing. So first you examine their body for injuries, then you look at what they can and cannot do. His digestion was fine after the couple of doses of arsenicum. So then I moved to the neuralgic or the paralysis remedies. A good remedy would have been Lathyrus sativus, and I thought I had it on me, but darn it, I can't find it. So I cannot emphasize enough that you should alphabetize your remedies, put them in a tray so that when there's an emergency, you can find them. And what I'm trying to say here is keep these bottles in your fridge at all times. You can add a little bit of alcohol if you like, but they last. They last for weeks and weeks, and you can always replace them. So you don't have to wash them with boiling water to put in different remedies each time. These are the remedies that have worked for our dog who lives in West County, Sebastopol, and will work for your dogs also, who probably has similar habitats, and heal their injuries, heal their illnesses without going to a vet, without going to emergency. This, what happened 4 days ago, would have been an emergency visit with CT scans and MRIs and blood work. Enormous stress on our very elderly dog, doxycycline, testing for this, that, and the other parasite, and 7 to 10 grand in emergency bills. Instead, he is healing rapidly, gently, and completely at home. He's not going to be tortured by strangers. He's not going to get poked, prodded, and pinned up and so on in a strange and scary setting. And our dog hopefully will live through this and live for a little bit longer. We don't know how long he will live. He's kind of elderly, but the homeopathic remedies have made all the difference in the quality of his life, the quantity of his life, and just his general well-being. It has brought balance to him. And so if you thought these little silly little white pills didn't work, or what was the point of something that's 1 billionth of one molecule? What is the point of something that has crossed Avogadro's number? I don't know, but it works great. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu and post this so that you can use homeopathy for your animals in your daily life. Thank you and have a great day.